Hi all! Thank you all so much for attending the summer workshop retreat organized by Peggy Dean. I'm so excited I could be a part of this, and I really hope you all enjoy what we put together. My name is Faizah, and I'm a self-taught artist based in New York. I mostly do calligraphy and crafts as a hobby, and I do commissioned work here and there. Today I'm going to be making an event sign for one of my good friends' bridal shower. You can use this tutorial for just about any sign, whether it's on wood, mirror, acrylic, really anything that vinyl will stick to. Event signage seems to be really in these days, so I'm hoping this is super beneficial. Let's just get right into it. I'm starting off by lettering my text on Procreate. I'm using here the modern calligraphy brush that I purchased from iPadlettering.com, but you can use really any brush you please. You can definitely use a ready-made font for your text, but I love that after a lot of practice with lettering, I can really call these pieces my own from beginning to end. Getting the lettering and calligraphy down is probably the hardest and most tedious for me, but I love that on my iPad I can play around with the lettering and spacing until I'm happy with it. I'm not the best at punctuation marks and dots, so I'm using a font for that. Once I have the design down, I export it to my laptop. I figure a screen recording would be the easiest to add here. I open Cricut Design Space, start a new project, and upload the image I just exported from Procreate. I'm clicking here all the blank space that I want gone, so essentially everything but the black text. Then I save it and insert it into my project. The short side of the roll of vinyl I have is 12 inches, so I want the short side of this image to be a little smaller than that so my Cricut has enough space to cut. I'm going to set the height as 11.5 inches, which sets the width as 13 inches, so I'll make sure to use my longer mat while cutting. Now I'm ready for my Cricut to do its thing. I'll press Make It, set my base material, which is premium vinyl in textured metallic, set my pressure to more, and then I place the vinyl on the mat before pressing Load and Go. My absolute favorite vinyl to work with is the textured metallic one. I believe it comes in 6 colors, but what I love most about it is how classy the texture looks on signages. I use the gold most often, but here I'm using the color platinum because it matches the border of my sign that I'll show you in just a few moments. I'm placing it on the mat vinyl side facing up, and I'm using my scraper to make sure it's on the mat really well without any air bubbles. Then I load it and press Go. I'm going to speed this part up, but essentially my Cricut does all the cutting. I prefer this over writing directly on the sign just because the curves of my lettering and calligraphy come out a lot cleaner this way. Once I'm done cutting the text, I like to take a crafter's knife to section out my words. Sometimes if you peel the entire vinyl off at once, it's really easy to pull some of the text with it, especially small parts like punctuation marks or the dot over an I, things like that. So this trick really helps to prevent that. Here I have 3 words, so I'm going to peel the vinyl 3 times, making sure to carefully weed out the spaces I don't need each time. I like using this weeding tool right here with a tiny hook at the top, but you can use a tweezer or a straight pin. I have a love-hate relationship with this part. Kinda takes a while, especially if there are super tiny pieces like here. Okay, we're almost there. I then take my transfer tape with grids and start to peel the backing off from only one side. You don't want to peel off the backing all at once because that gets messy. I'm using the scraper again to prevent any air bubbles and to make sure it sticks really well to the vinyl. You can use regular transfer tape, but you'll see soon why I like the one with grids. Once that's all set, I like to cut the edges pretty close to the text and even on all sides. This personally helps me to make sure that I'm centering the text when I'm placing it on the sign later. I'm using a float frame here, but feel free to use an acrylic sheet, mirror, wood, really anything vinyl adheres to. You want to wipe the base of whatever you're using. A clean base will help the vinyl stick well. I'm glad this was already wrapped. I'm using my Cricut mats behind my frame to help with measurements. When I'm using a mirror or wood, I like to use tape to make a border for where my text will go. I never eyeball it because once the vinyl is on, it's nearly impossible to get it off without something going wrong. For me at least. I'm using a crafter's knife to section out my words again. Then I slowly and carefully roll off the backing. The textured metallic vinyl is a tad thicker than normal vinyl, so pulling back the transfer tape doesn't work as effectively as rolling back the white backing. Of course, my camera cut off here, but all I did was put the first word down. My crafter's knife didn't cut all the way through, so here I'm just using a scissor to cut the words again into separate pieces. With the same rolling back method, I'm rolling off the white backing of the transfer tape. I prefer the grids on the transfer tape for this reason right here. As you can see, I'm just lining up the grids rather than eyeballing if the text is straight. The scraper is coming in handy again to really get that vinyl down. Here's probably the most exciting part. Peel off the transfer tape and watch your sign come to life. I placed my sign on a beautiful easel and added some flowers. I was so happy to see my friend's reaction. These signs are really fun to make and they add such an elegant touch to any event. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you learned a thing or two. You could find more of my work on Instagram at @WithLoveFaizah. I'd love to meet you there.